Alrighty guys, you know the drill. Back with another first impressions Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, green Stravaganza. So this usually happens where new releases will go completely silent. It'll be months before we get anything. And then seemingly almost all at once it feels like we start getting a bunch of new releases. And then it's crunch time trying to purchase all of them and get videos out there. And then also it's a lot of money you have to spend all at once on a whole bunch of new stuff, especially with the prices these days of new designer and niche products. They're not getting any cheaper. They're not making it any easier on us. And the world of flankers is continuing to grow. And for a lot of people, they're getting fed up with it. There are certain ones that I get tired of, but sometimes I am, every now and then, pretty excited for a new release. And surprisingly enough, this is one of them. I don't know what it is about this one, the marketing, the look of the bottle, the note breakdown that I did peek at, but I'm pretty hyped up to try this. And I haven't always been that way with the Born in Roma line. Clearly they're shifting their focus on this line. They've been putting out a new release within it every year. I would love to see them go back to Uomo Intense and the original and rework those, but I don't see that happening. So let's get into this one today. We'll see what it's all about. I have high hopes, but who knows? So here is our bottle, and no surprise, it's green. It looks great. Really cool green gradient on the glass itself, and then green lettering there. Has the studs around the collar, which is kind of the newer style, matches the rest of the Valentino branding and presentation. They never used to be like that. You know, you take a look at the old Uomo Intense Uomo bottles, it was smooth, so that's a little bit of a new detail. They also are going with a cap on these instead of the integrated atomizer, and at this point it's kind of old news, but I still like to throw that out there anyway. Okay, let's go ahead and get this one on and we'll see what we're working with. Standard atomizer, nothing has changed there. It's surprising, but coffee immediately. Like I mentioned, I did look at the note breakdown before this. It was one of those deals where I was on the edge of purchasing it. So I looked at the notes first to see if it would be something I'd be interested in, and I was, and so I bought it. But I almost didn't because, again, some of these are getting a little bit boring. This one I like immediately because they're not wrong. You are picking up on a nice coffee accord immediately. It's a sweet roasted coffee, realistic, similar to that of what's being used in the original Valentino Uomo, all the way back to the very beginnings. Also kind of similar to kind of, I don't know, the Rocus Man coffee accord, almost cappuccino smell. I'm getting a little bit of that style. Scent-wise, between the two, they're different fragrances. This one is giving off a green aromatic smell, but the type of coffee that they're using reminds me of that a little bit. And I do like it. It's something that you wouldn't really expect to get from a green-themed scent like this. So it's a little bit different, but I can see that being a good thing here. For me, coffee is like iris or tobacco or things of that nature where chances are if it's being utilized in a fragrance to any degree in which I can smell it, then I'm probably going to like it. And that's the case here. I love coffee in real life, the smell, the taste. I drink it every morning. I smell it every morning because of that. I love it. So it would make sense that if I'm picking up on that note in a fragrance that I would therefore like that as well. And that's what's going on here. If you're not a coffee fan, then you're probably not going to like this because, again, surprisingly, pleasantly, it's being utilized pretty heavily here. So as far as the notes go, there wasn't really a whole lot to see. We have bergamot up top, coffee in the mid, vetiver in the base. So for me, it's kind of more of like a sage, lavender, aromatic combination that's kind of shrouding the coffee, and that's oftentimes used with coffee. And for example, in Rocus Man, it has like an aromatic package built around that coffee, the cappuccino note, kind of similar here. And I know they don't list those aromatics off, but I pick up on them. The vetiver is not overly strong yet. It's a little bit more subdued, a little bit more mild. There is a bit of a woody nature to this one, but again, it's not overbearing. As far as the bergamot goes, for me, that was pretty much non-existent. Maybe I'll spray it again up in the air and see if I can pick up on it, but Yeah, not a ton. I mean, even in the air, immediately when you first spray it, the coffee, the powdery, roasted coffee, dusty nature is prevalent immediately. And that is a very pleasant surprise. A lot of scents out there you'll find will put coffee in the note breakdown, but you don't actually pick up on it that much. So I'm glad that they're really doubling down on this. Now, if you were to give me this scent and if you were to give me this scent, say, hey, this is Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Green Stravaganza, and you weren't to tell me the note breakdown or anything about it, and you were to have me smell it completely blindly, I would be thrown for a loop. That's how interesting this one is, because again, it's not overly green in the way that you would expect. So I think this one's a little bit bizarre because of that. I just don't see it as an overly green scent. Now, it's a coffee scent, and I've said that a million times, but it's not too sweet. It's not a winter gourmand, so it's not as sweet as the original Valentino Uomo, or of course Uomo Intense or anything. It's not as sweet as some of your other favorite coffee scents out there on the market. It is a fresher variety, could be utilized really well in spring and summer evenings and things of that nature. But I do think the green theme around this one is a little bit bizarre and doesn't fit all that well. Kind of like Prada Luna Rossa Ocean Eau de Parfum. You guys have heard me talk about that one highly many times. I love it, but it's not oceanic, it's not aquatic, and it has a frankincense kind of smoky sweetness to it. Not what you would expect from an ocean named scent and theme as well. Similar deal with this one. So kind of just double checking here, I wanted to make sure, but it's an eau de toilette concentration. I would have liked to have seen this one released as like an eau de parfum at the minimum, but I can imagine, and this might not be true, but maybe they'll build off of this and do an eau de parfum next, because remember, they have Born in Roma, the original, and then there's like an eau de parfum intense, and then there's Yellow Dream and Coral Fantasy and so on. But they've kind of doubled down and done some flankers within that line. So, there's Coral Fantasy, and then there's Born in Roma, and then Born in Roma EDP Intense, or whatever it is. Maybe I'm getting a little bit mixed up, but they've kind of started to work into those. Maybe they'll kind of go down this road, branch this one off, and then put out a green Stravaganza EDP or something. I don't know for sure. I would have liked to have seen this one concentrated higher, but there's nothing we can do about it. Time will tell in terms of performance. I'm hoping that it'll do decent. Right now, it's relatively mild, kind of soft, at least in terms of its projection here. So definitely going to be one that probably sits a bit closer to the skin, a little bit more of a personal scent, but if it could hold up decently in terms of longevity, that would be nice, but I don't know. So I went out and paid retail for this one. It's in stock on all the major retailers now. So should you go out and buy it at retail? My answer pretty much every time is no, you shouldn't. It's going to hit discounters pretty quickly. That's typically something that has been happening more often, and that's something good to counteract the increasing prices of these at retail, is that they have been hitting discounters a lot quicker. It used to be, especially years ago when I was first starting out, it would take several months for new releases to finally hit discounters. Lately, you could sometimes see it hitting discounters before it's even hit retailers, sometimes a week or two after, sometimes a month or two after, but typically the turnaround time now is a lot quicker. So wait for this one to hit discounters before you pick it up. If you do like coffee scents and you want a little bit of a fresher variety, a great coffee scent to wear as we head into spring, this one is really good. If you haven't been a fan of the rest of this lineup, this might be something to look into. It might shock you. I know it did for me. Once this one does pop up on discounters, I will send out an email and text notification to my mailing list and texting list. I always do that with new releases coming in stock on discounters, along with things that might be rare, discontinued, or hard to find coming into stock as well. So make sure you sign up to those down below. But we're going to wrap it up here. Uomo, Born in Roma, Green Stravaganza. Better than I thought it was going to be. Again, even looking at the note breakdown when I was on the fence about buying it or not, the coffee is the only thing that made me pull the trigger, and I'm glad it wasn't an artificial note. Again, to say it one more time, surprising how much it comes through instantaneously. I'm happy to see that. So let me know if you're excited to try this one or if you're going to pass on it. Again, like I said, just wait for it to hit discounters. That's probably going to be the best bet, especially because you should be able to get it for a pretty decent price off of retail, you know, 15, 20, 30 bucks or more. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.